Hello, 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 hello. Hey guys, this is your girl Antoinette Curry, and we are in week 8. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We had week 7 last week, and now we're on week 8. Week 7, I think I went over what to do with the $1,000. So if you have not looked at week 7, you need to go back and look at week 7 so you can see why I asked you to save the $1,000 the first week when we started Unit 1. If this is your first time tuning in, go back to the introductory video and then start with Unit 1. It's okay if we are ahead of you. You can start whenever, whatever time, like now. If we're in week 8, you can go back and start in week 1. This is not a time conscious thing, so you can start whenever. If you have friends that would like to join, the challenge, they can still join. They can, put them on week 1. Tell them to start week 1. I have all the videos on the Facebook page. So, guys, if you want to go back to a week, if you want to start back, go back because you had a setback and you didn't maintain or you didn't stay focused, and you stopped sending your letters, or you kind of, got burnt out and you just didn't want to try anymore. But then now you're ready and you want to stay focused and you want to fix your credit because you want to buy a house, or you just want to get your life together. Start on week 1, like I said. But if you see the email, you probably read this. This is an email that I got from a client, and she wanted me to help her. The email said, "Please help. I need help." So her thing was, I'm going to read what she said. Week 8, I wanted to cover this because I know some of you have the same questions, but you just didn't reach out to me because you got kind of detoured, or you was like, you got scared because you received this letter from the collection agency and you didn't know what to do, so you just stopped. Okay, because you was afraid that, okay, they verified it. They verified my signature. They sent me my information from my original creditor. So that means that I do owe this debt, right? Let me read this email and tell me if you're in the same situation, and then I'm gonna tell you what to do after this, okay? It says, "Hello, my name is Sanso Sanso. All right, I didn't want to list her name because this is privacy. So I didn't want to put her business out there, blast. I don't know who in the group. So I just wanted to keep this private. All right. My name is Anjanette, and I am so thankful of how you explained the steps of how to remove collections and charge off on your credit report. Thank you for taking your time out to help me and my family move on to the next chapter in our lives. However, I would really appreciate your help. So initially I sent the Ideal Collections a collection validation request letter. And they sent me back the original documents that I initially signed up for when the original with the original creditor, my signature and all. This is the only derogatory thing that I have on my credit report, and regardless of my AU accounts, they have dropped my score on all 3 bureaus. I would really appreciate your wisdom and knowledge on how to move forward. It's me and my 5 babies, and we are trying to purchase a home. But this one item is haunting us. Please help us, and again, thank you kindly. I really appreciate her taking the time out of her schedule and sending me an email on something that was, was dear to her heart. This is something that is stopping her from purchasing her dream home. And I know a lot of people is in this situation when they try to fix their credit themselves, then they get into a block wall and they feel like, oh, this is it, man. So I really do got to pay this debt. What I mean, I'm stuck. So now With that being said, there are two things that you can do after you receive a debt verification from the actual collection company. Not the original debtor, but the collection company. Okay. Now, the first thing and the easiest thing that you can do is to write a pay to delete letter and request to, if you pay it off, you're offering a 30%. If they give you a 30% discount, you'll pay it off in so many payments, and they have to, delete it from your credit report. Now, they can do that. You can request them to do that, and it depends on the collection agency. Some of them will accept it. I have had um, some that I sent to that accepted it, and then I had some that refused it. So it depends on the collection agency, but you know, I would say send um, the unless you're trying to purchase something within a couple months, like 3 to 6 months. I would say do a pay to delete letter. But if you have time and you're trying to save, like for your down payment, your closing costs, and you're trying to, get a house within a year or two, then I would say to continue to dispute this because it is disputable. Just because they sent you a debt verification, now the debt verification didn't come from them; it's coming from your original creditor. So the Fair Credit report says that if you didn't give them permission, like if they didn't reach out to you first to ask permission to request your information from the original creditor, then they have breach your privacy rights because they are supposed to contact you first to let you know that they are requesting information from your original creditor. If they have not done that, then they have breached your privacy rights. Now, you can challenge that. It's up to you. And I know a lot of you guys are scared and afraid to challenge that, but you can challenge that. It is your right. And the only thing they can do is say yes or no. Okay, so don't get scared when you receive. They do that. The purpose of them doing that is to scare you to say, "Oh, wow, they did get the information from my original creditors, and that's my signature." So you can stop. And most of you do. Most of you do stop, and that's the purpose of them sending you the information that they send you. Now, you can continue to dispute that and say, "Hey, I didn't give you permission to request that. How did you know that it was me that opened that account? I don't remember having that. So can you prove this to me?" And so that's why we send the collection agency a debt verification. So you go back with them and you send another letter back and go, if you want to challenge this now, if you don't want to challenge it, you don't have to. You can send the pay to delete letter, ask them to give you a percentage off if you pay it off within you could pay the whole thing off or you can make payments and then ask them to delete it off your credit report. You can do that. Or you can continue to dispute it. And like I said, it is disputable. Just because you receive that, uh, remember now, I want you guys to remember your original creditors sold that to the collection agency, which means that you no longer owe the original creditor. The collection agency has to prove that you owe them. So if the original creditor didn't send you information telling you that they are selling your account to the collection agency, then you don't owe the collection agency. Okay? You never received any information that they were sending your account to a collection agency. The collection agency never reached out to you telling you that they bought your accounts. And even if they bought your account, that doesn't mean that you actually owe them. Okay? They bought it. They spent their money to buy it. So just because they bought something, that's just like when you buy something that's stolen. that doesn't necessarily mean it's yours, right? Okay, it's the same thing. Just because they bought it don't necessarily mean that you owe them. Okay, so you can challenge that, and don't be afraid to challenge that, because it is disputable. And this how a lot of credit repair companies get things removed, because we dispute this, and we go back and say, hey, according to the Fair Credit report, it's saying that you have to prove this to me. I didn't tell you to buy that account. How did you get my information? Who did you get it from? You didn't ask me. You didn't send me any information. So how did you do this? So guys, it is disputable. You can dispute this, so don't get afraid. Don't get afraid when you receive information back. uh Toss it to the side and tell yourself, I'm still going to dispute this. But like I said, if you don't want to dispute it, you don't have to. If you want to go ahead and pay it off, if you're trying to go ahead and get your house or a car or whatever it is that you're trying to do, go ahead and pay it off. It's up to you. But me, I would dispute it for as long as I can, and I'll go back and forth and dispute it and tell them, hey, it's my right. I have a right. You have to prove this to me. If you can't prove it to me, I'm going to continue to dispute it until you prove it to me. So I send letters back and forth, and several times I have gotten things removed. So don't be afraid, guys. This is something that I wanted to cover in week 8. So don't be afraid. The letter that I send now, you remember there's 2 debt verification letter. This is the debt verification for your collection agency. Make sure you're sending the right letter. Okay. This is the letter here. So remember, I think it was week 5 or 6, I went over these letters, and this says, okay, you gotta provide me the following when you send this to the collection agency. What's the money you say I owe you for? What is it for? Uh, ex- oh, wow. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. Get out of that. All right, so you say, please provide me with the following. What's the money you say I owe us for? Explain and show me how you calculated what you say I owe. Provide me with the copies of any papers that show I agreed to pay what you said I owe. Provide the verification copy of any judgment if applicable. Identify the original creditor. Prove the statute of limitation has not expired on this account. So what this means is, how did they get that information from the original creditors? If they reached out to the original creditor and said, we need this information for Anjanette Curry, and they didn't copy you on that and ask you for your permission, then they have breached your privacy rights, because they didn't reach out to you before they got that information. Just because they bought that debt don't mean that they have right to your privacy. Okay, so always remember that. You can prove this in a court of law. Just look at your privacy rights in the Fair Credit reports, and it'll show you. And then this, tells you here, if your officers are able to provide proper documentations as requested in the following declaration, I will require at least 30 days to investigate this information, and during such time, all collection activities must cease and desist. And this is your cease and desist, which means that they cannot contact you, they can't call you at this time. So all those harassing phone calls, texts, emails, or whatever they sending you, they have to stop. Okay, so this gives you a break, and then you just continue to send this. And if they don't, provide you, and they have to provide everything, not just one. They have to provide everything. If they don't provide you with their license number and register agent or agent of service, if they can't provide that, if they can't provide you their license to collect in your state, if they can't provide you the statute of limitation, to show that the statute of limitation has not expired on that account, then they haven't given you everything. And just because they send that information to you doesn't mean that it's over, guys. Doesn't mean that you stop. Okay. So you can continue to dispute if you choose. You can continue to dispute this. Okay. And what I usually do, I always say, you know, I sent this, and then I say second. You see where I put first notice, and then if they send it back to me, just like with the letter, I'll put second notice, and then I'll say, uh, you know, all items listed below, not part, must be submitted to verify this account. So um, I said, I respectfully request that your office provide me with competent evidence that I have any legal obligation to pay you, which means that you got to show that I have legal obligation. I know, um, you know, that debt may be mine. Well, I always tell them, I don't know if that's that mine or not because I can't remember that account. I always say that. I don't say I know that that may be mine. I never say that. I just say, well, I'm not familiar with that account. I don't know if I don't remember it. And I just ask them to send me information. And then I go back when they send it to me, signature and stuff. I say I don't remember having that account. Is there any other way that you could prove that I had that account? Because I don't even know if that's my signature or not. I can't remember that. So, do you have any other way of proving to me that that's my debt? If they can't prove that, then they have to remove it. I just give them a hard time. And then after a while, they get tired of going back and forth. They'll holler at somebody else that'll pay theirs, and they'll forget me and then delete it because they don't want to keep going back and forth because it's cost them. It cost them money to go back and forth with me. So they'll just forget about it. So sometimes now I have had some that have tried to garnish some of my clients' checks. Now, I think if you owe probably like $1,000 or more, sometimes they will try to garnish your check. Now, what I would suggest is for you to try to show up in court because they have to send you a if they send you a notice to come to court. I would try to show up in court, and what I would do, I would bring, that's why I asked you guys to make copies of every letter that you send, because I will bring every letter that I have written and said I have tried to uh, get this paid. I have tried to come to an agreement with them. They will not accept an agreement. They wanted me to pay all of it at once. I am on a budget. There's no way I can pay what they are asking. So, this is unfair to me. And I remember one time, I had, who was it? A company that tried to garnish my check. I showed up in court. They sent me a court date. I showed up in court, and I told the judge, I said, look, I have reached out to them several times. I have asked to be put on a payment plan. I try to work something out with them. They refused everything that I have tried. I am on a budget. I am a single parent. I have 5 children. I got my check stub so you can see my check stub so you can see how much money that I make. They are trying to garnish 40% of my money, and there is no way that I can live off 40% as a single parent with 5 children. And you know what that judge did? He throwed it out. He throwed it out because he said it was impossible for them to try to do that. And I came in and I showed verification that I couldn't afford to pay what they was asking, and they was asking me to pay all of it at one time, and then they was trying to garnish 40% of my check. No way. And the judge was like, okay, this is ridiculous. You guys should have worked out something with her. If she reached out to you and tried to work out a plan, why didn't you accept the plan? You can't force her when you can't put her in a hardship. And that's what he said. By law, they can't force you into a hardship. If they try to force you into a hardship, you can take them to court and say, look, this is harsh what they're trying to do to me. I'm trying to live. I can't live. I'm going to be put out on the street, homeless and things like that. How are they going to get paid if I'm homeless? So, it's just a lot of things that they try to scare you into. It's a scare tactic. Go to court. If they summons you to court, go to court. You got your paperwork. That's why I asked you guys to save your paperwork, so that way you can show that you have been communicating with them, that you have tried to work out some type of deal, that you have tried to make a payment plan and they just never accepted it. So don't be afraid, guys, to continue the process once you get that letter and it's showing that they verified or they sent signatures of the actual account. Don't be afraid to continue to challenge it, because all they could do is take you to court, and then you go to court, you got your documentation. Go to court. Go to court. You got your documentation. And I bet you they would throw it out, because a lot of times they know if they summons you to court, you're going to get scared. You're not going to show up because you're going to be afraid, what the judge going to say, and you're not going to show up, and they automatically win. If you don't show up, they automatically win. Because whatever they tell the judge believe them, because there's nobody there to speak on your behalf as to what's going on, why you can't pay them. So the judge is going to take their side. So guys, in week 8, don't be afraid to continue to dispute against these collection agencies. You guys can do it. Just continue to send the letters, and then I'll put another letter, like the actual letter that I sent the second time, like the second notice, to let them know, hey, look, I didn't ask for partial. I asked for all of these items to be verified. Like, you got to send me, provide me documentation of all of these, not some, but all. Okay. So I hope that helped in week 8. And continue to save the $1,000 if you haven't gotten to that point yet. It's okay, guys. Don't think that you're behind, and don't give up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up trying to put your family in a better position. Don't give up trying to fix your credit so you can have your dream life. It's okay. To take a break too. Sometimes I know it gets stressful, especially when you're going through things, and uh, things happen in the family. You have a financial setback, you know, relationship situation, and it's okay to take a break. But you take a break and then get back at it. Start off where you left off, or if you want to start back over, you're more than welcome to. Um, I am here. I am available. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Um, Guys, this is your life. This is, you know, what you want. So you have to make it work. You have to figure out a way to make it work. Don't give up. Don't give in. Stay the course. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for going through week 8, and I am out. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. I am here. I am available. I'm an email away. If this is your first uh, time tuning in, go back to Unit 1. Start with the introduction video, and then go back to Unit 1 and work your way through. If you have any family members, friends, church members, co-workers, anybody that's talking about fixing their credit, send them to the 724 group. Send them to our group and tell them to just, start in Unit 1. Man, I'm telling you, just tell them to start in Unit 1 and just work through the process. Just go from unit to unit, and I guarantee that their credit score will go up if they follow the instructions in every unit. Um, let's see. I think that's all I have. Good night, guys. You guys stay blessed and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. and I will see you next week in week 9. All right.